Greetings, Earthlings. The helmsman is back. And back to get it piggity poppity cracking, whatever your preference of phrases are. So now I was running my flappers a little bit on that last one. So this time I'm gonna try to make sure I get back to the business of it a little quicker. Get back to this thing a little quicker without a lot of but I got some reading to do on this one. But one thing I want to I don't think I got a chance to, I need to start doing that though, going back and looking at my videos, but I ain't go back and watch the last one. But I don't think I got the I think I went off course a little bit when I was speaking about the house party thing with what I was trying to say was in the movie it was and I see this happen a lot. Well, I see the light skin and the dark skin girl thing. It's some about that, man. Cause even back when I was in so that's how you know I'm Osiris. I'm an Osirian nigga. Cause back when I was in the 4th grade, 4 being the number of the Osirian number, the wildest shit happened to me. I had 2 young ladies. One light skin, one dark skin. You know, they came to me one day when we was at school and was like, we both want to be your girlfriend. I was like, what? I'm thinking they bullshit. They're like, yeah, we both want to be your girlfriend. I say, shit. Let's get it cracking. And that shit lasts about a week or 2 or something like that. But shout out to them though. I don't want to say their name. I really want to say their name because even their names, because they both had similar names. They was like best friends or something like that when we was in elementary. And then when we got to middle school, I think one of them went to because the way our school, we got 2. We really got one. Back to the 4 shit, we got really like one square. Our school, you can if I take you to it, it sits on us. It's 2 schools. You got Elsick and you got Hastings, and then you got it's really 4 schools. You got Elsick, now it's 4 schools. At first it was just Elsick and Hastings, and then they built a 9th grade center for each one of them. So which makes it 4. Two different schools for each 2 area or 2 different halves of each school. So you had a 9th grade center for Elsick and a 9th grade center for Hastings. So when we but it sits on like a you can look at it like a big square because you got our side because they both big schools. It ain't like 2 little schools next to 2 little high schools next to each other. They both big schools, you know what I'm saying? And you got Elsick side, which sits on Derry Ashby, because you got Bel Air, where I give y'all an example of it. Let's see. Okay. You got like this the main street, this Bel Air. And then you got Derry Ashford right here. And then you got Cook Road right here. And then you got all this over here is Elsick. And all this over here is Hastings. And then you had a 9th grade, well, this would be the 9th grade center because they sit closer to Bel Air. And these would be the main campuses or whatever. And then you got a road right here, High Star. That's the name of that street, High Star. and then the parking lot will be right here. I don't need to go in there. I'm starting going down memory lane, which I got the main part out the way, but your high star. So you got Elsick and you got Hastings. So I think when we got to middle school, and high school, they end up going to the light skin one end up going to Hastings or whatever in a different school, and the dark skin one went to Elsick with me or whatever. And that was just interesting right there. But I ain't gonna put the names out there like that. But I mean, if I was them, I would want my name out there with some shit like this. This is some grand rising type shit. But anyway, and then the few relationships I did take serious within my life, it was some light skin, dark skin, light skin shit. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so we're gonna get into some things, man. Let me look at the clock. 6 minutes. 6 minutes. Start facing zone. So, but I was saying about the Sydney and Shireen thing. Even though the movie it was AJ Johnson and Tisha Campbell, but you know in real life, Tisha Campbell girl is Tashina Arnold. You know they tight. You know they always was doing. They did Little Shop of Horrors, and then they did the house party thing, whatever. And even with the kid and play thing, you look at them niggas, the light skin, light skin, dark skin thing. They both named Chris and shit. You know what I'm saying? This shit crazy. But I just wanted to touch on that because I think I went on a tangent. I don't think I got to go into that part right there. So now I'll say that one for that probably be more appropriate for the next one. Now what I'm gonna do now is we finna do some things here. Now what I want to get into now is we gonna let's see how we want to start this, how we want to go about this. Let's see. Well, let's go back to the process. So, where we at? All right. Now, give a quick little recap. In the beginning, it was the top. This was new. The dark waters are new. Sister Sledge, it's the sledge. The darkness, the muddy waters, tar water. I'll talk about that later, but there's a tar water, the dark water, the muddy waters, the water, the melanin, the water within the melanin with Tiamat. So you sometimes you hear people say APAP, the great mother. But APAP would be the quote unquote evil mother. Tiamat, the version you want to be about is Tiamat. APAP is the mother of drought, the hag. That's when all the water has been frozen and dried up, and you're left with Sakari, the desert land of the desert land, when everything dries out. See, like, right, okay, so this is the beginning, this is the top. This is when the great mother is fruitful and full of nutrients, the water, the minerals within it, or whatever. With the most concentrated point being at the center, the most condensed point, just like you'll read about Sirius B, they say Sirius B is like, in a Sirius mystery, he compares Sirius B to uh compressing he said something like compressing 25,000 pounds of content within a small matchbox. So that's a whole lot of condensed shit right there, condensed star. But you know, from the top, it is like this with the light. You know, I gave you a little flick of the light, but you'll barely be able to see the light because it'll be sitting within that concentrated bubble of melanin right there. Tiamat, the hippopotamus goddess, the pregnant belly of the hippopotamus, which this is where you get your soot thing from. So this would be really a blackish blue, because even though the light is covered up with all that melanin, you'll still see the radiance of the light, a faint part of it. It's just like if you was to take a light bulb and then you took a black plastic bag and put it over the light bulb, the light would be covered up, but you will still see a little that, you'll still see that light penetrate through that darkness of that trash bag, and the light will be coming up as like a blackish blue or like a grayish white or blackish blue or whatever. And that's why when you're dealing with you gotta understand that these Kemetic deities, or these Kemetic, you got the elemental spirits, which would be the god, the deities or whatever. But then you got the glorified spirits. The glorified spirit is the actual ancestors. So when I'm dealing with Whitney Houston, my mama, my sister Cassie, whatever, when I'm dealing with them, I'm dealing with glorified spirits, those that was once here. See, we understood the difference in Egypt or in ancient Africa or just indigenous lands, period, before the falsehood of religion flooded the world. We understood the difference. We understood that Shu or represented wind or whatever. And then when we talked about God, it wasn't you were speaking about different spiritual, when they made for example, when you put your hands together like this, you know what I'm saying? Amen. That's aiming. In Christianity, that's praying. You put your hands together and you pray. But that's really a sign of that comes from ancient Egypt, which means aiming. In, the hidden one. In. Is the word. In means the word within, or in, on. In, the hidden word. The light and the word is one of the same. So when you see them doing that in ancient Kemet, they were talking to the hidden ones, meaning not some whole or daughter broth type of deity, that God that you've been taught to, the way you've been taught to view God in Christianity. When they was dealing with the aiming and putting their hands together like that and making contact with the spiritual realm, they were contacting certain ancestors that they had. Maybe they mother who made the transition, maybe a friend, or maybe a person of a grand statue, or maybe one of the ancient pharaohs that passed on. They was dealing with them when they put their hands together and said, Amen. In. They're sending word to the hidden, or the word within. They're dealing with the inner. So when you're dealing with these when you're dealing with the deities, you gotta understand them, what aspect that that's like with soot. They say soot, soot and Horus are the twins or whatever. And then you'll read and say soot was the primordial or the first or whatever. When they say that, they're saying that soot represented before he became the evil prototype of what you now call the devil. He was a condition in the beginning. But his condition was the light that was hidden. That's why when the process of the creations take place, he becomes the evil one because he keeps trying to hide the light, which rolled over into when the white boy came on the scene millions of years after we even done all this shit, built the world. You wouldn't necessarily call the white boy Soot. You would call him like the child of Soot or something like that. He's the offspring or the byproduct of a Soot type of mentality. So he's always trying. That's why all his whole career on this planet, once he overthrew the motherfuckers that made him. See, he was made by some motherfuckers who were trying to take over what we would now call the real niggas of the planet. And they went the motherfuckers that was about the riffraff went off and made him, because that was the original split of black people was between motherfuckers who wanted to make the goddamn white boy and motherfuckers that were like, nah, fuck that. You know what I'm saying? And that lineage is still flowing through the bloodline today. The lineage of the motherfuckers who want to go along with the process. The fucked up people, or the people we'll say that's fucked up today, the dead folks, or the dumb, deaf, and blind. These are the people who are the byproducts of all the people who partook of that genetic experiment. So it took a process. They had to break the original black man down and operate on his genetics in a manner that would decrease the blackness and reduce the amount of melanin and light that was being produced. They had to keep doing this and splicing them with animals and breaking the blackness and the light down all the way until they got to and this was a process that was going on through generation to generation. But all the people who were exiled and went with those that wanted to go and partake of that experiment, the bloodline of those people who were giving themselves up to be used within that process, their melanin and spirituality was being broken down until they got it all the way down to what you know as the white man today, or white people today. And 17, okay, and just checking the time, but with the motherfuckers that's fucked up today, they are the ones who are the ones that can't see the light. They can't see the light because they are the ones who are the offspring of those people who were a part of the project or a part of the experiment, who went with Yakub and them or whatever. They the ones that went with them. So those people were using those experiments. So the reason why motherfuckers got your fucked up people today is because they are from the bloodline of those people who were being broke down, whose biological and chemical makeup was being broke down within the process of making the white person. The people that were in between, all those generations that were in between the original man being broken down to the white man, all those people who were lending themselves over, they were still producing and having kids. And as a matter of fact, the kids of them were the ones that were being kept. And then the ones that were still showing signs of being real niggas or having that light, they was killing them. But then the ones that was being born and they could tell was, for lack of a better phrase, fucked up or was lacking the light or lacking the essence, they was like, okay, keep him. Now we're gonna breed some more motherfuckers, and then we're gonna keep on breeding the motherfuckers that's lacking the essence. We're gonna keep breeding them into their essence till we create a generation of motherfuckers whose essence is, they look black, but they still fucked up. And then they gonna decrease down into straight up white folks. You know what I'm saying? So taking it back to the soot thing, man, where the fuck was I going with that? Yeah, soot type of thing. But soot, the original soot, he represented a condition, which was the light that was hidden. So that's what I was saying. So when white folks began, what they did was they were created as war slaves. So war slaves or whatever. So they created them motherfuckers, and after they got them a nice army built up, they came back and waged war against the real niggas who ran them out for coming up with this idea of creating the white boy. And they used the white man as war slave. That's why his mentality is so. That's why he has a warfare mentality. He's a war. As Bobby Hemmings say, he's a warfare animal. That's why everything he do is war. That's why that's why shit is fucked up now, because everything he does was always in a manner of war. That's why they tell you all this food is fucked up, and the water is fucked. There's fluoride in the sink water, and everything is from a warfare mentality to wage war on black people in particular, but the regular masses in general. Warfare being waged by some people who are sitting at the top controlling this shit. So you ain't out of, that's why I don't even get into the whole, you know, if you white and racist and don't like me, it's fuck you too. But anybody, a nigga, if you don't, a nigga that don't like me, or I don't give a fuck who you are, it's fuck you. But cause some of you niggas might as well be crackers as far as I'm concerned. You know what I'm saying? But you know, but if you're a cool white person, hey, cool, hey, right back at you. I'm cool with you. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. But I know your nature though. So, and that's the key thing, you know. Now I personally don't. I've never, when I come, you know, no, I don't get. I'm going off track, but yeah. So anyway, but then what ended up happening was, go get Destruction of Black Civilization by Chancellor Williams, and you will see what I'm talking about. You'll see where I'm getting this shit from. But long story short, the fucking war slaves end up overthrowing the motherfuckers that created them. They masters overthrowing them and taking over all of us. Them motherfuckers and us. You know what I'm saying? And the real niggas. So that's how they ended up on the top of the totem pole. And overall, in the grand scheme of things, this shit happened just to make us to break us down so that we can build ourselves up on another level, on a better level, i.e. what we going through today with this quote unquote grand rising shit. You know, I don't like saying that. The joke, it's too goddamn commercial for me. A grand rising, you know, but that teaches on. I'm not knocking you like saying it, but this new rise of the golden race shit, I like that better. That's, you know what I'm saying, we had to go through that process. Osirian being broke up into all those pieces. One of the things that symbolized with us being separated, niggas can't get along, separated physically, scattered all over the abroad, all over the land, mentally scattered because we can't get along. Niggas hate each other because you got the niggas that's fucked up, then you got the niggas that's real and that's trying to keep it real, but them niggas got to be on point because your realness and trying to be cool and being a loving person, you got to know how to be a loving person, but at the same time slay a motherfucker because you fuck around and be a loving person. The motherfucker try to take advantage and use that to get over on you or fuck you over, then you got to pull a blade out of a nigga ass. You did. And I'm really about that action. You know, I'm a peaceful nigga. Horus got two sides. I am Hetep, the peaceful side, and he got Hartima, the fucking slayer. And you get whatever you present yourself to. That's why I don't give a fuck. However you get what you ask for when you fucking with me. I put it in your hand. Same thing with relationships. I remember this little chick, she was a young chick who wanted to fuck with me one time. I was like, shit. Nah, you know what? I'll give you a shot. But I ain't, you know, but I'm gonna put the ball in your court. I'm gonna keep it real with you until you fuck up. So anyway, you had the top, there was moisture filled with the water in the middle and whatever. And then you had the light at the bottom, which is Osiris in the first version of Osiris in the underworld, the light. Then you have the little see if y'all can see that. Okay, yo. The little point of light that create the yin and the yang, the little dot right there, which would be the child sitting right there, which comes up from the light. That's why when you hear people talking about, I think that's one of the mysteries of this shit. Because you know, when you start reading this shit, you hear about at first it was just the mother and the son. But that's if you're looking at it from the top. It's like, that's why I go with what Dr. Phil Valentine said. Dr. Phil Valentine, Reverend Phil Valentine said, well, it's both, he's Dr. Reverend, but he said the father was always hidden. So you can't, because some people try to put the father all the way out of the equation from the beginning, but from the light that makes the sun was always downhill. The light comes from the little sun that sit in there, is coming from the light of the father that's hidden. I'm in the first version of a mental. So we got that, and I'm gonna read something to y'all, and then we're gonna get to the business. I want to show y'all something, let y'all know it's real in the field. Let y'all know when I tell you that it was prophesied that I'd be sitting here doing this shit. Ancient Egypt, light of the world. Now, you got this is from the Pistis Sophia. The Pistis Sophia is the best way to put it for you to understand would be one of the books that was hidden from one of the hidden books of Jesus or whatever. One is the shit that the Orthodox Christianity try to keep you away from. Now I'm going to read this to you. It say, the Gnostic Jesus represents the double horrors, human and divine. That's your boy, me. And the joint heirs, which is the whole, everybody that's of the Christ energy, is called the joint heirs. But you do have the one, too. But it's just like on the dollar. What it say? Unum uplurius, out of one comes many, or out of many, one. You know, that's why I be tripping. I laughing at these niggas. Yeah, I heard some nigga talking about, oh, it's not just the one that's coming, it's all of us. And he's right and wrong at the same time, because it is all of the people that are of the light, but you do have one representative. You have a representative like in the fucking movie The Matrix. But his mentality is like Niobe in the new Matrix. She said it. She said, at one point I didn't think that there was a one. The character that Jada Pinkett played. She said, I only seen a little bit of the movie. But I seen that part, and she said it was once a time where she only thought, she didn't believe in it was just one, which is how a lot of people thought. She said, I didn't believe it was just the one, I just thought it was all of us, whatever. But she was wrong. But anyway, the first and second advent are both fulfilled by the Jesus of the Pistis Sophia. Oh, excuse, hold on. The Gnostic Jesus represents the double horrors, human and divine, more fully and definitely than does the Jesus of the canonical Gospels. Canonical Gospels, independently of any personal history. Even Gerald Massey, that's one thing he was wrong about in his book. Even him, he didn't think that, but I can't knock him. He was, this is some shit from, he was writing this shit way back in the early 1900s or something. But even he didn't think that it was a one coming. He didn't think that I was gonna come in the flesh and do this right here. He just thought the same thing that your girl thought. You know what I'm saying? But he didn't know that part. He knew his shit because this book is excellent. He just didn't know that part. But he is right when he said there wasn't one. Well, let me get to this. The first and second advents are both fulfilled by Jesus of Pistis Sophia. As the youth of 12 years old. When you hear about the youth of 12 years old, the youth of 12 years old represents the creation of the 12 divisions that will go on to create the basically the circumference. We'll get to that. Let me just do this real quick. The first and second advents are both fulfilled by the Jesus of the Pistis Sophia. As the youth of 12 years who was Horus the Word, he instructs the disciples up to the regions of the first statutes only, and is the teacher of means of parables. In his second advent, he says, I will speak with you face to face without parable. This is what we in right now, the second advent, which really already kicked off, honestly. But he then unveils and expounds the greater mysteries from center to circumference, from the first to last. what I'm doing right now. I'm breaking shit down to you niggas from the center to the circumference. This is the Jesus of 12 years. When all that light, look, okay, we go back to the process first. We go back. I don't want to get ahead of myself. So that's the top. That's the bottom. Then we got the center. Now I already broke down the backbone of those sides and all that. The light is gonna come through this center. When it shoots up, you'll hear, when you read this, when you read Ancient Egypt Light of the World, you'll hear about Horus traveling through the blind door of death or whatever. That's representing when this here raises up and pushes up, or comes from the center and shoots up the right here. He's the light right here with the train following it, but he has that block or that darkness in front of him. So it's like it's the blind door, the door of the blind door, whatever. He shoots up the right here, and of course, you have the nuke aspect. A nuke is when a nuke is the dog on noop. The dog leads the way. Like I said, when you go hunting, you got your dog with you. He's in front of you, sniffing out, trying to find where to, prey at or whatever. That's what this does. It shoots up. Make sure y'all can see this shit. Okay, yeah. When this part finally departs, when all it fills up the darkness right here, and it shoots up and hits the point where it's gonna stop at, and it cuts out or carves out the 7 shrines or the 7 openings where the 7 spirits of light gonna come up and follow it and fill them up. Hence this. Now, we do a little reading right here. Now, when these 7 shoot down here, and then all these 7 are filled up right here with the 8 at the top, and the 8 at the top right here, while this is still connected, this part right here, before this here disconnects, when all this lights up, this is like the sun. This would be the first version of summer, or when the light is at its highest point. And this is where you get your Christmas in July thing from. I'm finna get into that. You got this light right here, and you got all these setting up. So you got your full flooded light. When this is fully flooded, when this is full of light, as the light rises, each one of these get filled up with light. It's causing the water that was within here to precipitate and rise up. So by the time they all filled up, all this is water and light. Because when all these set up like that, this, or what was once all this right here, floods up, fills with light, as the melanin that's all in here is gonna come down through here, and then create dripping in here and here in the center, where you create the backbone. As the light goes up into the circumference and flooding and creating this, turning what was once this into that on the top right there, flooded with light. So when all 7 of those candles, or all 7 of those lamps are lit up, the surface looks like this. Oh yeah, and another thing about when I was telling you about the 4 brothers, I was saying it's supposed to be 2 women and 2 girls. No, it is the 4 brothers, because even in Egypt, it's the 4 brothers of Horus. But the feminine aspect will always be there, because each one of them has a feminine aspect. But I think the reason why it's 4 men or 4 brothers, because the 4 cardinal points on the circle is representing the spinning of the circle. The spinning being activity, activity being masculinity. So let me get into this right here. But like I was saying, that's why on this one right here, I tried to this the land of milk and honey right here. The white water, well, I got it blue right now. I use blue for the water, but you really can't see it. But you can get up on it so I can give y'all a better look at it. I had the blue for the light that's coming up. This is the surface, so this light is shoot up in the air, like up in the hill like that. So you had the light coming up, and then you had the water, which is even appropriate as well, because that blue and yellow makes a light green. And they say in Egypt in the morning, it's a light green mist in the sky early in the morning or whatever. But the water and wine, or the milk and honey, the milk will be the water, the white waters, because once all that water raises up out of the melanin, this is gonna be a thick cloud of smoke. You'd still be able to see this because the lights would be shining through the smoke, but all this would be a thick, dense cloud of yellowish white smoke, because or mist or precipitated water, because the water will be the white or the milk, and the yellow from the light coming up will be the gold or the honey, the land of milk and honey. Now you got motherfuckers out here talking about the moon is fake and shit. I'm finna slay that. That's bullshit. Excuse me. That's some purity bullshit right there. But I'm gonna wait for him. Now let me read this to y'all real quick. Now this for the flat earther niggas. The flat earth shit. The earth is flat on the surface, and it's a sphere. It's a flat flat land that we sit on, but it's the flat land or the square sits within a sphere. But let me read this again. It says, he then unveils and expounds the greater mysteries from center to circumference, from first to last. In the same Gnostic scripture, Mary, the mother of Jesus, describes her son in accordance with the Egyptian gnosis of the double horrors, which was not derived from the canonical gospel. The canonical gospel is the bullshit from Catholic Church and your Christian background bringing up. But she thus addresses him: when thou wert a child before the Spirit had descended upon thee, when thou wert in the vineyard with Joseph, the Spirit descended from the height and came unto me in the house. Like unto thee I knew him not, but thought it was thou. And he said unto me, where is Jesus my brother, that I may go and meet him? Let me go to this. The center of the circumference was the point that I wanted to make with that right there. But I don't want too much time. I only got like 23 minutes left, so let me get to this point. Now we're gonna get into this right here. For the flat earther niggas. Alright. Now I'm gonna read this. The other is kind of off, not off, but this is the page I want to read from, but it's coming from another page. So this part right here might, it's, let me see. I'll start right there. Yeah, we start right there. It was a deluge feared by the gods themselves, so it won't be sounding all crazy, but it was a deluge or a flood feared by the gods themselves, because the waters were celestial. Hence they sought refuge in the highest heaven. That's what I'm telling you about right now. The first, so you think the one of the floods they talking about is when all the light raises up and floods the circumference or the top, as opposed to flooding the bottom or the surface. They're talking about the water that came out of the melanin and floods, creating a thick cloud of smoke or whatever. But they ascended to the heaven of Anu, the enclosure at the pole. This was the heaven of the stars that never set. The heaven, that enclosure, the enclosure or ark of refuge. That's your ark right here. This the riddle of the Sphinx right here. It's the Sphinx. We're gonna get into that shit. We're gonna get into some shit, niggas. You niggas crazy out here. This was the heaven of the stars that never set. The heaven, that enclosure or ark of refuge, which is said to have rested on the mount when the flood subsided. It was Baal, the wise one, the counselor of the gods, who caused the deluge. And he is the pole star god, equivalent to Sut or Anu, the judge. That's why I was telling you about Sut. When Anu, he caused the flood when he departed from right here and raised up. It caused the melanin to flood down here, and all the light to flood at the top, and the water that's coming out of the melanin to flood the air or whatever, or the aerial aspect. And then he went to sit at the top. This was the heaven of the stars that never set. The heaven that enclosed the ark of refuge, which is said to have restored on the mount when the flood subsided. It was oh, that's what I want to say about the white boy too though. Like I was saying, that's why he always trying to hide the light or hide your knowledge or hide your information from you. That's the attribute, the soot typing attribute of him. Always trying to hide the truth and hide the light from niggas. But anyway, let me get back to this. The deluge here was evidently the result of a change in the pole stars. Hence the tree replanted in a circle by the gods. A tree in the circle. Circle. With the branches. Should have colored those gold, but it'll be alright. With the branches of the tree. The deluge, okay, if Bell made the deluge when he represented the pole star, changing the pole star would be as the letting in of waters, otherwise called the flood. The ark was built against the contemplated change. The Greek tradition included two legends of the Great Deluge, or cataclysm, by which the race was destroyed. One of these was the flood from which the OGs escaped with a few companions in a vessel. The other is known as the deluge of Deucalion, from which he escaped with Pyra, his wife. That's where you get your word pure from. Pyra, fire, the pier that the fire sits in or whatever. The pyrotechnics and all that shit. OGs with his few companions are equivalent to Horus with the 7 great spirits who were saved from the deluge in the Ark of Orion. Deucalion and Pyra are equivalent to Adam and his consort Hathor Iusis or Isis. Which I added that in there when I said the Isis. That's where Iusis come from, but it's a thing behind that too. But among the California Indians, they tell of a great flood, heaven all water. Heaven all water. As the coyote looked at it, heaven all water, from which only a coyote survived and a feather that was seen floating on the vast of expanse water. Remember I told y'all about the dog? This is the dog, it's the coyote. It's the coyote. The feathers. Feathers. As the coyote looked at it, the feather became an eagle which joined the coyote at the reed peak. This is the coyote. The nose, the coyote. This is the eagle with the wings joined at the peak, the reed peak, the reed. Peace to Tina Reed, Latina Reed. And these two were creators of men. The reed peak also answers to the Kamite field of reeds upon the summit of Mount Hetep in the Japanese midland of the reed expanse. The papyrus reed or lotus flower is a cradle or ark in which the child Horus was uplifted from the water of noon. That's that one right there. Was uplifted from the water of noon and saved from the drowning. This becomes the mythical reed various legends, which is a co-type with the tree as a means of emergence from the flood. The Navajo Indians have piously preserved an account of the ascent from the waters of the deluge, not by means of a tree or a tower, but by building huge mounds on earth to make a tall mountain in the north. Oh yeah, and that's another thing too. When all that light was at the bottom, it was coming down here to right up to the top. It was pushing up on them 7 points and creating 7 mountains on each side. So by the time all this set up and all these was down here, you have 7. That's your titans or your giants. 7 giant mountains on this side, 7 giant mountains on this side. That's what this shit alludes to, you know what I'm saying, as well. But keep that in mind. So their tradition is that men of a world before our own, on being warned of an approaching flood, resolved to build a place of refuge. They took soil from the four corners of the mountain of the world and placed it on top of the mountain that stood in the north. And thither they all went, including the people of the mountains, the salt woman, and such animals as then lived in the third world. The salt woman. When I tell y'all about the salt, pillar of salt, the salt woman, the light being transformed to a pillar of salt when it came in contact with the melanin at the center. The third world. This is the third world right here, the center. So in the soil from the four corners of the mountain represent the sledge or the melanin that was coming from that was coming in from these four corners to the center to pour down into the bottom and create this, the 1, 2 plus the 2 on the other side, the 4. When the soil was laid on the mountain, the ladder grew higher and higher, but the waters began to rise, and the people climbed upwards to escape from the flood. At length the mountain ceased to grow, and they planted on the summit a great reed, and took into the hollow of which they all entered. The end of the fourth night from the time it was planted, the reed had grown up to the floor of the fourth world, and here they found a hole through which they passed to the surface and were saved. The great reed evidently imaged the celestial pole. It was grew by night and did not grow in the daytime. The turkey was the last to enter the reed, and the deluge rose until the water wetted the tip of his tail. The tree had been an actual refuge for the human race. Hence it became a typical refuge that was figured in the astronomy and eschatology. Salvation from the deluge by means of both the reed and the tree is a mode of escape from the waters in the ritual. The deceased is one who knows the deep waters, but he is not to be drowned. He exclaims, I embrace the sycamore tree. I am united to the sycamore. The sycamore is the sycamore is a tree of dawn, and the speaker escapes from the waters, just as the young sun god escaped from the deluge of darkness by climbing a tree or mountain in his papyrus his papyrus plant. The one as solar in the mythology, the other as soul in the eschatology. The soul in the eschatology, they're talking about your kundalini energy rising up from out of the base of your spine to the top of the crown chakra into the pineal gland. I'm adding that in the pineal gland shit. But anyway, this mode of ascent goes back to the time when there was neither a bridge of heaven nor a boat upon the waters of earth, nor a tower that was built to reach the heaven. In the Norse mythos, the ash tree is called the refuge of Thor. The ash tree is the go back to the salt. That's another version of the ash, the salt. The ash tree would be when the salt, instead of it being considered salt, the light being transformed into those white particles would be ashes compressed into being the spine. But I'm back to the reading now. The ash tree is called the refuge of Thor. T-Hor. Thor is just another version of Horus. T-Hor. I'm gonna show y'all that in a minute. Because it was caught and saved. It caught and saved the young god when he was being swept away by the overflowing waters of the river of Vimur. This is the same typical tree as in the ritual, where it is the mainstay of the Osiris, who is well nigh drowned by the deluge of the inundation, but who escapes by laying hold of the tree. We need to know in what sense the reed or tree in heaven was a type of safety during the in which it is said the waters had to be confined. I'm tripping. We need to know in what sense the reed or tree in heaven was a type of safety during the deluge before we can interpret the Arawak version, in which it is said the waters had been confined to the hollow bowl of an enormous tree by means of an inverted basket. That's the bowl with the tree. This is the inverted basket right here, the upside down basket. Okay, let me hurry up, cause I might not get to what I want to. Yeah, this is the shit I want to show y'all too right here. We need to know in what sense the reed or tree in heaven was a type. Okay, I just read all that. The mischievous monkey saw this basket and thinking it was covered with something good to eat, he lifted it up, whereupon the deluge burst forth from the tree. Now the monkey, we'll stop right there because this is one of the key points I want to talk to y'all about. Now, the monkey, mon means one, key is key. Monkey, when you go to the Kemetic zootypes, the monkey is a symbol of fire or masculine energy, because the monkey is always in an active moving state. He's always moving or whatever. So they took that and said, due to the fact that he's always a busybody, we'll take him and use him as a symbol of fire or masculine energy, because he's always active. He's you know they sleep and shit and all that too, but just metaphorically speaking or whatever. So when they say that the monkey lifted the bowl off the top of lifted up the bowl, or lifted the top of the bowl up, where we at? All right, let me go in a little bit. Now, yeah, we finna get into some shit, man. Y'all niggas, holy motherfucking horses. I got 9 minutes left, so I give y'all a little something. But anyway, this is what they talking about with the monkey. You got all these gonna light up, right? Boom, boom, boom. You're gonna have a ladder down here set up. After this takes place, the next thing that's gonna happen is all this light is gonna withdraw, and I gotta do some other shit right here. It's all this. This is when you get your Jesus at 12 years. This is when they talk about, because they tell you Jesus turns 12, and then after 12, you don't hear nothing about him no more until he's 30. The 30 part, the part of him being 30 is like a second advent, the center. But the 12 part, when they talking about the 12, they're talking about the zodiac sign. When all this light right here is gonna go out and bust out, it's gonna travel. So all this light that's right here is gonna retract backwards and concentrate right here, and it's gonna be in three different groups. Well, I got it right here. 1, 2, 3. Each one of these gonna have the same thing. 3, 6, 9, 12. This gonna go out and create a retract back. Where the whole thing is gonna retract. So this gonna retract from all this light from in the center. It's gonna retract or travel backwards to the concentrate in this ring, and then it's gonna go back this way, and all that light along with all this light is gonna concentrate in that ring, and it's gonna keep on moonwalking backwards until it gets to right here, and all that light is gonna, then all the light that's in the center is gonna concentrate in that last ring, and it's gonna leave behind a dark circumference once again. But this time you're gonna have at first, when I showed y'all this at first, or the first part when it was at the top before the process took place, this was moist darkness, melanin, sticky, gooey, the gumar, the mother's goo. But after the light all comes to over the top, then travels to the edge of the circumference, it's gonna leave behind dry. That's why it's called Sakari, the desert land. It's gonna leave behind dry, dark melanin, dry, dusty particles of melanin with broke up particles of light all through it. That's why I wanted in one of the zoo types, soot is represented as a giraffe, because the process goes, the backbone of those sides is created right here. Then you got the ladder set up here, all the light flooding up there, little speckles of light down here coming from the light, coming from the light that was made contact with by the melanin that was pouring down here. When it was going, the light was coming up, the melanin was going down, so it was leaving little particles of light behind on the melanin. And then the light flooded right here, Then after that took place, all this light flooded to the circumference, leaving that dark land with the speckles of melanin in it. The speckles of melanin are like those spots on the giraffe. And you would still have this, when all that light retracts to the outer circumference, the water follows it. So, well, no, well, not yet. You will have this right here sticking out of a dark surface with gold flecks in it, or whatever. So it'll look like a giraffe. The neck, one leg, two leg. You got two in the back, three, four. 4 legs, the giraffe, soot. And it's soot because of the light, because it's the part of the process where the light is starting to retract. So now this light is finna start retracting up. And so this part right here, when this light right here, when this little thin band of light right here travels up into here, the melanin that's on the side of it is gonna drop into here. This is where you get Ani, or the black half Annie, covering up burying Osiris, because this little thin band of light is gonna travel up into here, and then the thin sides is gonna fall up into here, and the flanks of the melanin, when this all this light goes up into here to travel up there, this flank, the flanks of the melanin are gonna fall backwards. I got that. We ain't got enough time. I'll get into that when I come back. But I got it marked this time to show y'all. It was talking about I can't remember, who was it? Abel, Joseph, one of them motherfuckers. When their father was drunk. I'll get into that when we come back, because I ain't got no time. But these flanks right here are gonna fall that way and cover up that black space of melanin with the with the light sprinkles in it right here. That's gonna cover all this up. The dark shit, right? The dark melanin with the light sprinkles within it would represent the drunkenness of the father, Osiris. The melanin falling back on it would be the dressing, or covering up the naked father, leaving leaving all black right here once again, covering up the gold particles or whatever. But anyway, that process is going to take place with all these, and as that is happening, the water is following the light. So, but the farthest the water can go is to right here, because once all this light retracts to right here, the 6 and the 1, creating the 7, and then all this goes up to here. It's gonna take all the heat from the center, and all that water, the same way that light retracted from the center of the circumference, the water gonna retract. So all this water is gonna go to right here. All this water is gonna go to right here. All this water gonna go to right here, leaving darkness in the back. All this water is gonna go right here until it gets all the way up here, then here. And then when this light, as each one of these go up, then when it finally get to right here, when all the light concentrates right here, all the water is going to be concentrated right here. And then when this goes up, the water is going to freeze due to the lack of heat. Due to the heat being all withdrawn from out of the center of the circumference, coming up here. It's going to freeze and create the moon. That's the bowl that they're talking about. That's gonna be the bowl. I'm finna run out of time, so I have to pick back up where I left off at when I come back and get to that, because I ain't got nothing but a couple of minutes left. So I guess I get find that part about the drunkenness. So I got that marked somewhere down here. I think it's in my book. But I got that marked and then we'll get to the monkey part too. So y'all niggas, excuse me, hang tight, man. We on the roll. We on the roll.